For those who didn't see it the other day, I asked Steeler Wade a question. Now, if you don't know who Steeler Wade is, passionate bloke, good fella, all time, loves his Steelers. He started a YouTube channel called Steeler Wade Show, and I had him on the podcast the other day. So I'll link his description, channel name, all those kind of things. However, we got into a really good discussion about the center, and I asked him this question. I said, "What are your top three needs?" And here was his response: top three draft needs.
I don't know. Uh, well, I'm not going to include center at that.
Right. Not going to include the center. Now, I will be using a lot of footage from Steeler Wade's show because I'm going to show you guys another clip that goes for about 2.5 minutes that Steeler Wade is going to explain his, I guess, viewpoint on why the Pittsburgh Steelers shouldn't go and get a center. It's quite cool. Listen to this.
I think center in the first out there is everybody has so many different values out there as far as never pick a center in the first. Should we trade back and get this guy? One of the things that has I guess I've gathered from the different people that are in the know that talk about the offense is that it does need a very athletic center. And I think a lot of people, deem that like very athletic as like, well, we got to get the best guy, whatever people are seeing as value. The one thing that is unique about the center class this year is that they are all very, very, very good athletes. As far as their athleticism goes, the top 6 or 7 are great athletes. And it's funny, so many people, and I understand the hometown, Pittsburgh, West Virginia, Zach Frazier's cool, tough guy, I get it. But everybody seems to, the biggest thing that they like about him is that they think he's plug and play. Maybe that doesn't happen successfully very much for the Steelers. I mean, they don't do it very often. But the things that I've heard is that he's not necessarily that athletic. I mean, he's athletic enough. That's what they always end up saying. And but there are so many centers out there now that are very athletic that could probably be taught that Steeler way, how we want the offensive line coach to take care of them, train them. And Omar has already came out and said, for what it's worth, that they're fine with, they have people that can go in there if they want. So it's not necessarily like we have to have what's considered a plug-and-play center. If you have 2 guards on the outside, you can get away with a 3/4 mediocre or mediocre, or give allowances for a rookie to make mistakes when you are inside of Isaac and Daniels.
It's a very good point. Very good point that Wade makes there. Steeler Wade Show makes. And I will link his channel in the description below. And also, there's a follow-up little podcast clip that I have from a live stream that's going to come right after this. But that's a very good point. Is a priority for center. Now, Steelers, we're about, 3 weeks away, 2 weeks away from the draft, probably 2 weeks. Life's going super fast right now. I think about 2 weeks away. And I think at this point, the Steelers are going to go towards tackle. I could see that. See a right tackle, get another big bloke. Could be Mims, could be whoever. Someone who's 6'5". Bring him over. Is it Fuaga? If he gets there, maybe they trade up to get him. I feel the Steelers might go that direction. On the other side, though, and what Steeler Wade is talking about is maybe the center shouldn't be a priority. We hear about this Jackson Powers-Johnson, Zach Frazier, Graham Burton, all those dudes. I'm not a draft dude. I just know names that is being linked towards the Steelers. Anyways, check out this podcast clip from 2 days ago, will we go more involved into the question of, should center be a top 3 need? Yeah, fair
Because
point.
needs. I mean, but I don't know. Well, I'm not going to include center at that.
I did see your show, and I was going to ask you a follow-up question about that in a few moments' time, because your video today was talking about center, and you're saying we don't need to worry about center right now.
Right.
Is that
Yeah.
correct? Did you want to go into that now?
Well, as far as like those top 3 picks is the most important would be wide receiver, and then cornerback, and then tackle. And I don't even know totally how important that tackle part is, because I don't know what Steelers have planned. To be honest, I mean, the thing I did do a thing on the thing about chilling out on the Steelers with the center position, because we're really getting wrapped up in the whole Zach Frazier, Jackson Powers, Johnson, Van Pran, and then we have like this 4th alternate is Graham Barton, and it's like, if we don't get one of these 4 guys, we are screwed, and it's like, it's just not like that, The Steelers don't normally just come out with an offensive lineman to start off. They don't like to do that. They didn't want to do that with Dan Moore. The only person I've ever seen him really do it with was Green. Is that his name? Green?
Oh, the center?
Center, yeah.
Yeah,
and it was
yeah.
horrible. And
that was recent
that,
history. They
because he earned it, but I mean, they don't want to do it that way, So, the thing about with Arthur Smith offense, everybody keeps talking about how you have to have this athletic center. Well, like, most of these centers are very athletic. They are very athletic. I mean, that RAS scores, they're all super high. I mean, they're not slouches, If so the thing about it is that I think that 1st, 4th round pick could probably get you somebody. Whereas before, a month ago, I would have thought, if we don't get somebody in that 3rd pick, we're in bad shape. But the more I think about it, we're okay if we get somebody like that, because just start Nate Herbig out, let the rookie be better than him during practices at a certain point and take over. So
you're saying,
rookie that is.
I think your viewpoint is probably one in the minority. That's not a bad thing. It's actually a very different point of conversation. Is you're saying the center position isn't as important as maybe the media is putting out to be. Because I think the Steelers right now, I more think the Steelers are going to go towards right tackle and get someone to right tackle with number 1 with 20 pick. I've heard a lot of things about the Jackson Powers Johnson at 20, the center. So you're saying that Nate Herbig would be the fill-in guy to play center, and maybe a 3rd round or 4th round pick could try and take his job over the course of the year. Is that what I'm catching on with?
Sure. I mean, and if he doesn't work, if he's not ready, then we got Nate Herbig, and if they want to, they can figure something out with a cheap free agent. I know that it's dry now, but things are going to change after the draft. People are going to draft people. Priorities are going to change. There will be a new expansion of a free agency, that kind of happens after the draft. Positions are going to be filled. They got to figure out, so there will be filler guys if you're weird, desperate, but there's like 6, 7, 8 centers that are pretty darn good. I mean, as far as being an athletic, highly athletic guy, and you got Daniels to the right, got Sayamalu to the left. That makes it a pretty forgiving situation.
So if they were to get a center, 3rd round pick or a 4th round pick, and it was, someone like, is it Graham Burton? Is he expected to fall that far?
No, I don't think he gets out of the first. I don't think he gets out of the 1st round. But the thing about him is that he's a tackle. He's an amazing athlete, and they're just wanting him to be able to play center.
Right.
Idealistically, it's a selling point. It makes him more marketable and more things to talk about. I would love if he could. If he could do that and the Steelers fell in love with him, go for it.
Let's build upon this because I like this take because I think a lot of mock drafts are taking center straight away. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but Thomas Martin says here, Phil's two needs can be corner and safety. So going back to that question, if it's not going to be center to be your top three needs, and you've explained why, because there are so many guys in the draft. You got Nate Herbig, who looks like apparently he's going to be starter at the moment, and not even going after, like you said, after the draft too, or even during the draft last year, the Steelers signed Shannon Sullivan. Sorry?
During the draft, right? There's things that happened in the middle of the days.
That went over our heads. He's still one of the players that signed. I think he didn't get the best, overall applause because a lot of podcasters, fans, that kind of stuff were very focused on the draft. And we forgot about Shannon Sullivan who signed. So I think you're right to a certain degree with this take. Maybe the Steelers don't need to focus on center because they have the Herbig and there's so many guys in this draft that can be athletic and build upon with Ciamalo and Daniels next year. So let's go back to the top three needs. And if it's not center, what are the top three needs for the Steelers?
I'd say one would be wide receiver. The second would be cornerback. And the third would be tackle.
Alrighty, Steeler Nation. Hopefully you enjoyed that little podcast segment, and a shout out to my mate Steeler Wade Show, doing good things over there on YouTube land, talking Steelers from a different perspective. Because a lot of people out there are just like me. They think, okay, go and grab JPJ at center. You know what? It wouldn't be totally a bad thing. Steelers need a center, but maybe it's not the priority of the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. And priority could be getting a tackle or getting some help at receiver or cornerback and working its way in and seeing blokes that are, third round center could be an idea. Or do they go and use Herbig or James Daniels? Does he move over? I don't know. But what I think what he's saying is overall is that priority center is not that big of an issue because there's so many centers out there.